two hot tools are the same. And to demonstrate that, I found a bunch of hair extensions lying around my house. I was professionally trained to do my own hair and makeup when I was sent for Miss World. And a part of that hair training required me to familiarize myself with all the heat styling tools. We got trained by a team, a brilliant team at Chroma K. We had Swaroop and Pooja who used to come, even Kanta sometimes, but we had all these really amazing people who came and taught us everything from how to put on a roller, how to blow dry your hair without using stuff like this. And they even gave us a few gifts along the way, like this little travel hair dryer. It's kind of useful when you are traveling with a carry-on and you don't know whether the hotel hair dryer is going to be good enough. 1000 watts, so it's not, for the size, it's not bad. This one is a Kerasta's mini straightening iron, and this was also gifted to us by the team at Chroma K. It's so tiny and it's really good for picking out the roots of the hair. But they had also given us a mini straightening iron from the same brand, Iconic, and that one was far superior. Maybe it's because the plates don't make complete contact even if you press them hard enough. But those Iconic ones, they're really good. And over the time, Iconic did end up becoming one of my favorite brands, which is why I ended up buying not one, not two, not three, but actually I have at least 6 curling irons from Iconic, partially because I have mostly led a multi-city life, so I have just divided some of them and kept in different houses. This one is 1.5 inches and this is the one that I use the most, so this is my everyday curling iron size, which is why I have 2 of these, because one is here, one is there. I usually recommend that people buy dual voltage hot tools for themselves, because you never know when you suddenly decide that you need to travel now. So I'm heating it up to all the way to 110 degrees Celsius, and the reason I'm heating them all up simultaneously is so that you can see the difference in the curl pattern and how it affects styling. So all of them come with this stand, and if you're careful enough, you can just place them with the stand. I'm going to place this one. This is the largest size. This one, which is the medium size, and they're all heating up at different rates. So this is not my favorite straightening iron. I bought it because I thought that it had these large plates, so it's going to be quicker. I can just do some quick passes and I'll be ready to go. It did nothing for me. It would give me 5 seconds of a calm, frizz-free look, and then the hair would just go back to being silly. Typically, I would use a heat protectant. When I normally curl my hair, I would go all the way down and then roll it up. And I would go only as further down as I know I'll be able to wrap the remaining hair on the wand without having to loop them over themselves again. And so this is size 25. And a lot of hairstylists have tried to convince me that if you don't have the big tong, you can still get the result with a skinny tong. And right now it's hot, but we'll get back to this in a bit. That we can get the same result with a skinny tong, but honestly, I don't think that's true. 180, and you can see it's a really tight curl. And what would happen if I have a lot of these really tight curls around me? I'll get a lot of volume, yes, but it won't be the natural free-flowing volume. Like, let me show you my favorite. You just take this and go like that. I'm not doing it in front of the mirror. Hey mirror. And I can't see myself in the mirror, but I think I'm doing it the way I typically like to do it. And then I just open this, and you see how this one is like a really big, loose curl. And you can take big sections with a tighter wand. I say tighter because tighter curls, but you still don't, it's not the same. Like, it's just, you can loosen it the way they say you can, but it just still looks really done up compared to this one, where you loosen it up and as the curl flattens out, it just becomes gentler and gentler. 25 is still close enough, so I would say there's still not as much difference between this one and that other one, But when you start going lower than this in terms of the number, the curl just really starts changing, um, and starts looking more wiry. And for a lot of people who've grown up around styling tools like these, this is very obvious information. But honestly, I didn't know this. And for the first few years of my modeling career, it was very hard to understand why we're not achieving the result. Can you see the difference? Like, this one is a tighter curl, this one is a looser curl. Obviously, I've opened it up. I'll open this one up as well. But like, the more I open it, I just keep getting a smaller but more voluminous curl, whereas I want a more naturalish curl pattern, like how you would normally see. Now this is why hairstylists like using a smaller wand, because say if you're shooting, then this sort of a curl would need quite a few touch-ups, while this one would be slower because it's smaller, so you have to take more sections. But then once you're done curling the hair, you don't have to redo it. With this one, this is good for me to just have that polished look for everyday stuff where I don't need it to be super done up, I don't need the curls to last really long, but I just want to not have poker straight hair. Relevant if you're someone who has chemically treated hair like I do, because if you use any kind of straightening treatments or smoothing treatments, you'll realize that the hair always tend to fall straight, and just taking heavy chunks and giving a quick curl takes hardly 5 to 10 minutes, but really sort of levels up your hair game. So this one was 25. Let me just put this aside. This tong will actually give a result like this. You've already seen the straightener, I guess. So this is the straightener look. Yeah, I've got this curl. I'm going to wrap it all the way up, and you can see how many turns I have to make to wrap these hair along the barrel. Imagine now doing this for the rest of my hair. So the thinner the tong, the more time it takes for the curls to form. And now this one is like a proper, like a really ancient style of a curl, unless you have natural curls now. Can you see the difference? So this was, which number was this? This was number 16. Like, you see how the first strand that I had used number 38 on is almost straight with just a little bit of a wave in the end. Then you have, even this section was from here. Then you have that number 25 curl, which is still a little tight. And we'll open it up a little more. And this is for the more glam look. This one is I am a curly girl look. And I'm gonna take, oh god, I haven't used this tong in centuries now. And just keep curling and curling and curling. And another thing with this one is that normal technique that I use, where I sort of half curl my hair and then go over with the rod and like open it a little, doesn't work as well. So let's switch all of them off. Let them cool. This is how 34 turned out. This is 25 and this is 18, I think. If you see, here is where you can see the curl pattern and how coily it is compared to 25, which is more, I guess, natural, versus this one, which is 35, which is predominantly straight, but it's just got a slight shape to it. Mostly straight hair, but with some movement. And no matter how much you brush out, the coiliness will still remain. It's not like it can become slightly more like an S shape, but it's never going to be this. Like, it'll always be slightly different. I've just never been able to curl my hair with a straightener. Like I have been able to do it with a few straighteners like the Dyson, not the air straightener, the original, the Corel. That one I can curl with, but again, the curls just come out so messy. Usually the curls that I make with these straighteners are quite bad, which is why every time I had to travel with a hair straightening tool and a curling iron. And I was on Amazon and I had all these hot tools already, and I found this. And I would not recommend buying this. This is horrible. It claimed to be both a straightener like this, and then you press a button and it becomes a curling iron. First, this section on the top would keep getting, like, it will just keep catching my hair, so I still have some really old strands stuck there. I just hated it so much that I didn't even bother to maintain it or clean it or anything. I would say this iron really made my life harder. First, the plug just doesn't stay plugged in. Okay, now it did. Second is that I kind of prefer the clamp style curling irons, and this one has this little clamp, but it's not clamping enough, you know. It's not, the size of this clamp really bothered me back then because I had a lot of layers. Now I don't have a lot of layers, and I also have a lot more expertise, so I'm able to figure this out a lot better. I did it. I don't know if it's hot enough. Yeah, this is another issue with this one. It just never heated up fast enough. And let's see if it did anything. Wow, it still works. This one is one of those rollers, but it has a USB. You can just plug in a charger like a regular, like one of those really ancient Nokia BlackBerry chargers. Let it heat up, and then you would just hold it here, and then you would clip it on. And I mean, this is not how you would hold it. There's a whole technique to it, and we can get into it if we ever make a rollers video. So now with this device, this was interesting because it was like one of those blow brushes, but you don't have to move your hand in the way of a blow brush. It sort of did the job for you. Just rotate it. I like the standard blow brushes, by the way. The problem with this was that if I did thicker chunks with something like this, you would probably do this, and then you're like, yeah, I can just, you know, do my own thing. And there we go. You don't get enough control, and even if you do, a lot of times your hair would be so caught up in the bristles, the tension would be so strong that the brush would just stop rotating. That's where the lack of control would come in, because you would be able to sort of learn over the time what's the speed at which you need to go down so that it doesn't tangle your hair up. But the problem was that depending on how wet your hair are or how frizzy your hair are on a certain day, the cadence that you had mastered over the time would not apply. You would try to use the same speed, but now the brush is not rotating at the same speed. So it was very inconsistent and very tedious. I'm going to be taking this hairdryer away with me this time because I plan to travel a lot, and this time I plan to, like, say, if you are heading to an Airbnb, you don't know if you're going to get a hairdryer, so you use stuff like this. Strands. This was number 18, this was number 25, and then this was number what again, 34. So like almost straight, partially because I had also pre-straightened it, so you just get a slight little curl going for it.